Over the next few days, we're going to be reading more about different myths that took place in ancient Greece. So if we're looking at this world map, here's Greece in here. This is a modern map, but long ago in ancient Greece, it actually covered a larger area. I'm going to click on this, make it a little bigger. And so this is what modern Greece looks like, and we had talked about Greece and then the various islands that are off of it. And if you look here, there's Sparta right down here. And here is the large island of Crete. And all of this is modern Greece, and we're studying ancient Greece currently. So we've heard about several Greek gods and goddesses in the previous read-alouds, and we recently talked about Demeter and Persephone. We'll take a few minutes here and review the Greek god posters. Okay, now we're going to look at our Meet the Character chart in our binders, and we'll take a few moments to fill these out together. Now we're going to get into our story for today. It's called Arachne the Weaver. And what do you think Arachne does if she's a weaver? So she weaves or combines strands of thread or yarn in an alternating pattern in order to make cloth. What tools might she use? You can see here she's using what's called a loom. So today I want you to listen carefully to the read aloud to hear which animal in nature this myth is about. And before we get entirely into this, I'm going to go back to our vocabulary for this story. So our first word that we're going to be thinking about is the word arachnids. This is a noun. This is a class of animals that includes spiders, scorpions, mites, ticks, and daddy longlegs, which are carnivorous and have a two-segmented body, 8 legs, and no antenna or wings. Carnivorous means that they eat others of themselves. So an example, many people confuse arachnids with insects until they remember that insects have 6 legs and arachnids have 8. Flattered, that's a verb, shows action. This is pleased by attention or compliments. An example, Julie was flattered by the kind compliments her classmates gave her after she presented her book report. Stern, it's an adjective, harsh, firm, and or strict. An example, their grandmother gave them a stern warning that they were to look both ways before crossing the street. Superior, this is an adjective. It means higher in position or quality. An example, Alice felt that her pie was far superior to her sister's. So again, I want you to listen carefully to the read aloud to hear which animal in nature this myth is about. Long ago, there lived among the Greeks a young woman named Arachne, who was a very gifted weaver. A weaver weaves or spins threads or yarns together to make cloth. Arachne wove upon a wooden frame called a loom. As I said before, this is the loom right here. She did not just weave solid colors. She wove tapestries, wonderful woven pictures that people would hang on their walls as art. So what is a tapestry? People came from distant lands to see these masterpieces or great works in Arachne's studio. A visitor might comment, "This is amazing. Why, look at the leaves on this tree. They look so real that you almost expect them to move in the breeze. And this deer in the meadow looks as if he's going to turn and bound away." Bound means to jump. The visitors would tell Arachne, "You are the finest weaver in all the world." But then they would add, "Except, of course, for the goddess Athena, who invented weaving." Athena was actually the goddess of all handicrafts, not just weaving. At first, when people compared Arachne's work to that of Athena's, Arachne was flattered, or pleased by the attention and compliments. But as years passed, she began to get annoyed. She would say, "I'm sure Athena is very talented, but look, did you see this one over here?" Why do you think Arachne began to get annoyed? As still more years passed, whenever people compared her to the goddess, Arachne would angrily say, "I don't care if Athena invented weaving. I think I am the best weaver in the world." Do you think this bragging might cause a problem for Arachne? Word of this eventually reached the ears of the goddess Athena on Mount Olympus. She decided to visit Arachne's studio to learn if Arachne was truly saying such things. However, Athena did not want Arachne to recognize her, so with her magic, Athena changed her own appearance from a beautiful, athletic young woman. Now, with a wave of her hand and a puff of smoke, gone was the young woman, replaced by a woman so old and bent with age that she had to lean on a walking stick to get around. Here the word lean means to rest against someone or something for support. The word lean can also mean physically thin, strong, and healthy. Of course, inside that body was still the goddess Athena, but no one would have recognized her. In this disguise, she went to visit Arachne, commenting, "Your work is extraordinary, my dear." Does this mean her work is good or bad? "I'm certain that you are the finest weaver in the world, except, of course, for the goddess Athena." Hearing this, Arachne, thinking she spoke to a bent old woman, angrily exclaimed, "I am sick of hearing about Athena. I say that I am the best weaver in the world." Well, there was a puff of smoke, and when it blew away, who did Arachne see standing there with her but the beautiful goddess Athena? Arachne was afraid of what the goddess might do to her, but she took a deep breath and said, "I meant what I said. I am prepared to prove that I am the best. I have 2 wooden looms for weaving. You will use one and I shall use the other. Let us see once and for all who is the best." So the goddess and the young woman chose their colors and started to weave. When at last they stopped, Arachne grinned, for she truly believed she had won. She pointed out all the wonderful features or parts of her work to the goddess. "Look," she said, "see how real the stream looks tumbling down this hillside? And how the water reflects the colors of the sunlight, as real water would do. And if you move over here to look, the colors actually change the way real sunlight would change." At last, she turned to see Athena's tapestry. Arachne saw at once that the work of the goddess was even finer than her own. Athena had woven a stream, but hers seemed to ripple and move. She had woven clouds that appeared to float lightly in the sky, and above it all she had woven the gods in all of their majesty. Do you recognize any of the Greek gods in Athena's tapestry? Upset and embarrassed, Athena turned and ran from the room. Athena caught up with her, asking, "Where are you going?" Arachne exclaimed, "I thought I was the best, but you are superior, or far better. And no matter how long and hard I work at it, I will never be as good as you are. I shall never weave again." Were your predictions about whether her bragging would cause a problem for Arachne correct? Why or why not? Then Athena grew stern, or harsh and firm. Everyone is born with some special gift or talent. If only he or she could figure out what it is and how to use it. You must not waste this skill of yours. We shall see to it that you shall weave again. She reached out and touched Arachne's shoulder with the tip of one finger. Instantly, Arachne began to change shape. She grew smaller and smaller, and her body rounder and rounder. Her legs and arms grew longer and thinner until after about 5 minutes, Arachne had turned into the very first spider in the world. Today we call all the members of the spider family arachnids. And that is why some people say all spiders are the children of Arachne the Weaver.